Hello, and welcome to episode 204 of The Joy of Coding. How's it going? My name's Mike Conley. So happy to have you here. It's episode 204. It's January 22nd, 2020. Let's get started. What are we doing today? Well, let me pull up my screen and I'll show you. Hold on a sec. My screen. So here's my screen. Where's the agenda? Okay, so today is the 22nd, 2020, 204. That's the episode number. Reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I know what I want to cover, but I don't know if things will go correctly. Things might go horribly wrong. I might get stuck. I might get sidetracked. Who knows? There might be technical foul-ups, for example. I don't believe right now I'm streaming correctly to YouTube for reasons that are unclear. So things can go wrong, and that's okay. No plan survives breakfast. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on YouTube, maybe the recording after the fact, you can find the link in the video description down below. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, it's in the handouts section to my right. My left, your right. And if you're watching this on Twitch, then allow me to drop the link into the Twitch chat right now. The agenda is here. Boop. There it is. So I'm actually going to skip the episode guide. There's a lot I want to cover today, and so I'm going to skip the episode guide bit and go right into work. So what I'm working on is something that I think we were looking at last week, which was related to the pop-up blocker and fission. And I'm gonna disable notifications. No notifications. So the pop-up blocker is something that we use to prevent, sites from just spamming you with pop-ups. So for example, you can go to a site like, and let me fire up my test build here. You can go to a site like Popup test, pop-up blocker test. Where is it? Popuptest.com. Wow, all of these look like ads. I'm just going to go popuptest.com. I'm just going to go here, and if I click on one of these, then this notification bar comes up letting me know that these pop-ups were blocked, and then I can choose to open the ones that I care about. So that was pop-up 3 that I opened. I can open up pop-up 6, that sort of thing. So that I got a patch working for that works with fission. Right now this is fission disabled. I can make it work with fission enabled. Let me show you. So I'm going to enable fission, and then I'm going to shut the browser down, restart it, and then browse the browser to my subframe test server, which I host locally. And I'll show you an out-of-process iframe. So localhost 8000. So I have an out-of-process iframe now. If you look at the tooltip for the tab, I've got the topmost frame is 60946 is the process ID, and then it's 60947 and 60948 are the subframe processes. So this is running outside of the parent process. This is actually running in 60947. So that's great. And if I click on this, hey, I get my pop-ups blocked correctly, even with fission enabled. So the pop-up blocker now works with fission enabled. That's what my patch does. And I wanted to take a look at some review feedback that I received for that patch. So if we take a look at my tree right now, I've got this revision right here checked out. Let me actually pump up the font so you can see. Let me do that again. Right here, this is the revision I have checked out. Port pop-up blocker to JS window actors to make it fission compatible. And we can take a look at the patch that I wrote in the bug, and now we're going to take a look at the review feedback that I received. And if I remember correctly, the review feedback is pretty minor, but let's take a look. So here is the revision, and the patch itself changes a couple things. It moves some logic from one place to another place. You know, I'm trying to centralize some of the pop-up logic into this class called Popup blocker. And let me see if there's anything important. Yeah, pop-up blocking parent is, I think, where most of the new logic goes. So there's this new class called Popup blocker there will be one associated per browser tab. And then we can get the total number of blocked pop-ups per tab, and then we can asynchronously get information about those blocked pop-ups to populate that menu, and then we can use that then to send a signal down to the content to say which one we want to open, or if we want to open all of them. So that's how this works. And I want to now go through the review feedback I got on the patch. So let's start at the very beginning. What was the review? This was the review right here. So the very first thing well, first of all, whenever I look at review feedback, I look to see if there are any comments that indicate that there's going to be like a major refactor required or a major rewrite of the patch required. And I don't think there are, but let's double check. So it looks like he's making suggestions on different things I can switch to. He's asking for a reasoning for a change, some white space, comments. This looks like a simplification. This looks like maybe a correction per actor. Return the result directly. Block pop-up count ever different from pop-up to adult length. This function only gets called on page show, so it's just for page show or just in lines. It's very short. I don't see any callers that pass true for should notify. Wonder if you could just store and pass the browser context around directly rather than by ID. Did the store and the receive message implementation are almost identical. So they should be compliant. So okay, there's a lot of suggestions and there are a couple questions, but nothing in here suggests that I need to do like a major rewrite, which is good. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to start addressing some of the simpler things, and I'll leave his questions for the end. So the first, one of the simpler things is he's suggesting that I update some stuff in one of these tests to use special powers spawn instead of content task spawn, which is now deprecated. So let's do that. Let's update. Oh, I don't know if you're seeing that flashiness. I've noticed this with Sublime. It's only with Sublime that does this. It's like a really weird graphical glitch. I'm going to close and reopen Sublime, and then it fixes itself. Let's open up the tests, pump up the font, and he says that on line 50 of this patch, we should be using special powers.spawn instead, and I agree. Special powers is the one we were supposed to be using, and when we do that, we take the arguments and we wrap them like that in an array. Then the URI comes in, and then I think you're supposed to. Can you use content still inside of special powers.spawn? Let's take a look for an example. I'm pretty sure you can, but let's just double check. Special powers.spawn. Yeah, you can use content. So, whoopsie daisy. So that looks fine. And then there's another one here, special powers.spawn. And then we don't have to pass anything here. So let's make sure that this passes. Are there any other content tasks in here? No. So let's run browser pop-up frame and make sure it still passes. Browser pop-up frame.js. Smurf D saw the flashes. What's the deal? What's the deal with Flashy Sublime? I couldn't find the test, did I not? Browser pop-up frames. Frames. Drum roll, please. Failed. Special powers, sandbox. Oh, it doesn't like it if it's null. I think I passed null for the second one. It doesn't want null. It wants, I guess, the empty array. All right. Let's try that again. All passed. Okay, great. So that review feedback has been folded in. I'm going to just use HG amend to fold that feedback in, and then we can mark these issues as done in the inside of the Fabricator UI here. Okay, what's the next file? What's the next simplest thing I can kind of take care of? So these two are done. So over in Popup blocking parent, he is suggesting that I I wonder if you could just store and pass the browsing context around directly rather than by ID. Well, that doesn't sound as easy as I'd like. So maybe we'll take a look at one of the other things that we could do. I'd leave this. Okay, so this is like about style and white space, so we can do that. I'd leave this space in personally as the code doesn't relate to the comment. Okay, pop-up blocking child. Oh, right. So, yeah, that space goes there. Done. And then, oh, so he wants me to add the page show event to the declaration in actor manager parent. I'm gonna say I can't. If I do that, then we get the pop-up blocking child module loaded for pages that don't fire DOM pop-up blocked, which will cause greater memory overhead and a failure in browser startup modules. Was it browser startup modules? Or is browser startup content? Startup content.js. So I'm going to say, I'm going to push back on this one because I think Neil didn't realize that I'm trying to avoid loading this accidentally. Don't you want the weak doc states map to be global rather than per actor? I guess they could be. I don't know if there's an advantage to having them be global. But let me think about that. Let me put that in the back of my mind and think about it. So taken care of. Here he's saying that I can just return the result directly instead of wrapping it in promise.resolve. Yeah, I found that out recently. It was very surprising that I don't have to do this. I can just do this. So let's actually make sure that that is correct. Let's rerun the browser pop-up tests. Was it browser base, content test, pop-ups? We'll just run all those tests. Actually, hold on. Before I run them, let's build faster. Just make sure that the changes are built in. Wait, I see something from SmurfD. Wait a second. Why is all of this happening? Why is all of this happening? Which build with default? It should be with build with default. So mock build faster. Why is all this happening? Okay, well, all of this is happening. SmurfD says, change module to content. Hashtag backseat coding. Change module to content. Where? In previous comment. Module. Where? In the previous comment. Where are you talking about? Is it here? Module? Where were you talking about? Which file? In Fabricator, in your comment, in my comment. Did I say the word module? Pop-up. Then we get the pop-up blocking child module. Well, I'm saying module because it's a JSM. A JSM is a module. The M in JSM stands for module. In the file name, it's pop-up blocking child. I don't understand. In the file name, if I do that, then we get the pop-up blocking child module loaded for pages that don't fire DOM pop-up block. I'm not 100% certain what you're suggesting, SmurfD, but I'll wait for you to explain. All right, so let me run these tests. Looking good. Let's also do a quick smoke test ourselves with that the changes so far. Oh, Danny Collins said, wasn't that _content.js that you looked at in SearchFox? I presume you mean SearchFox. I was using SearchFox. Browser startup content. Oh, yes. Browser startup content. I understand. Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yes, correct. Thank you very much. Browser startup content. That is correct. Thank you for the correction. Thumbs up. I appreciate the second pair of eyes. So that's cool. Yeah. Neil was right. I can just return instead of returning a resolved promise with the result. Resolved promise. Sorry. So correct. That's done. I'm gonna amend those, fold those changes in. And he's right. This one is only ever called by on-page show. So we're going to make it on-page show. Done. We're going to also, I'm going to make it so that we hide all the done inlines. So everything that's not done will still appear. I don't see any callers that pass true for should notify. Update blocked pop-ups. Ah, he's right. When do we want to pass true for should notify? The caller should probably explicitly pass false. Or is this the caller that is meant to pass true? The old code suggests so. I think yeah, this is the one that's supposed to pass true. Should notify. Yeah, this is the one that's supposed to pass true. Build faster. So I guess there's some missing test coverage there, but I think I know what would have been broken in that case. Let me actually not pass anything, build faster, and then see if I can find the thing that would have been broken that we are fixing here. Because I think we're fixing a thing. So this is why you have review, so that you get another pair of eyes, and then you get help. Just kind of like the way y'all are reviewing my response to the review. It's really helping out. Okay, so I think the issue is that we can bring this up, and then if I close this, go back, then forward. No, what would make this work? Oh, as if an additional pop-up was blocked. So let's see if we can find an example of a pop-up that's coming in after like a timed pop-up every 5 seconds. Yeah, this will work. So 3, 4, 5. There's one. Okay. So now I'm going to close this. There's 2. Okay. So that's working. So should notify is undefined. So how is this working? Pop-up blocking parent. When we receive the message about a pop-up being blocked, we update the entries. If should show notification, I'm gonna set a breakpoint. We're gonna analyze this. Please, toolbox work today. Damn, come on. No, not today for the toolbox. So we're gonna. There's something wrong with the toolbox sometimes where it doesn't work until I like restart the machine. It's really frustrating. So instead, I'm going to log update blocked pop-up entries count should notify turn these into template string, and then I'm going to log the part inside of the UI code, DOM popup pop-up block observer should show notification if did this bit get flipped? That's probably what happened. Should show notification. Yeah, this should be flipped. Reported means I've already talked about it. We probably want to flip that. Should show notification. So this is what's going to cause it to break. All right. So there were a couple of issues here. This is good. This is good. This is what we want in a review. Timed pop-up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Should notify undefined. Right, so we want should notify to be true, and that should come from pop-up blocking child here. So we're going to put true there. Timed pop-up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. Now I'm going to close this, and then it should respawn it. Yeah, 3. Now I'm going to go back, and when would we not want to show it? Is if we've dismissed it and we have page shown again. We've gone back to it. Okay. This frame, show only this frame. So like, timed pop-up. Hide it, then go back, then go forward. How many pop-ups? Now 2. Yeah, okay, good. That's what happened. It knew that there had already been 1. It's like, now it knows that there are 3. So this is working properly now. 4. So what I was fixing is the following. Let me shelve what I've got, and then I'll reproduce the problem. We can undo the logging. Shelve. If you remove, from an older episode 186, Browser Toolbox Issues Nightly, found a tip on Reddit where you can try to remove the Chrome Debugger profile folder in the profile folder, and that might help. Let's find out. Profiles. Chrome Debugger profile. Default Chrome Debugger. New user Chrome Debugger. In this case, who would the Chrome Debugger user be? It would be about profiles. Or hang on, about support. Show the profile folder. So there's only the default profile in here. So whose profile does the, like if I open the DevTools, which profile do I get? That's an interesting question. I don't actually know. Anyway, Let's go to pop-up test, timed pop-up. So we get our build faster. This should be showing us a pop-up notification warning. Yep, there's one. And now I'm going to go, let's wait for the second one. 2, now I go back and go forward. It's 2. Okay, wait for the third one. I'm going to dismiss it and go back, now forward. And that's the problem. It shows up again despite having been dismissed. The new one shows up, which is good, but when I dismiss it and I go back and forward, I expect it to be all like dismissed again. Like 6 should not be here. Only when the new one shows up should it come back. So that was the problem, and we fixed that with, I believe, this new patch, or this new change. Let's build and check it out. Okay. Timed pop-up. So go forward, no pop-up. Good. Or like no notification until the next one shows up. Yes. 2. Then 3. Okay, good. This is what we want. This is what we wanted. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that's working now. So I'm gonna say to Neil, good catch. Good. Now I'm gonna say good catch. Should be passing true here. Looks like the UI code in browser.js that was checking, what is it called? Should notify. Is that not it? Should show notify. Was checking gbrowser needed to have its bit flipped. Needed to have, needed to, I was checking needed to change to, since the underlying meaning of the original Boolean changed. What was it before? It was like browser select pop-ups reported. Okay, without the, since the underlying meaning of the original Boolean changed. Okay, so that's fixed. Let's rerun the tests now. So I guess there is certainly some missing test coverage here, where like if the notification is dismissed and then you navigate, we don't check to make sure that the notification bar is not still there. Okay, so that's done. What's next? So this is taken care of as well. Should notify is now, it's like hide done in lines. Is the blocked pop-ups count ever different from popup data.length? If not, we should just use that rather than keeping a separate tally. Good question. Is blocked pop-ups ever different from popup data length? It is different because oh no, it's not necessarily. Yeah, we should just use the length. He's right. He's absolutely right. The pop-up data block. Yeah, okay. State. If state dot pop-up data dot length. Let's. Yeah. Cool. Done. Good call, Neil. This is some good reviewing from Neil. Hide done inlines. What are the other issues? Where's the next one? This is okay, but is there a reason for this change? Yeah, this looks accidental. Let us put that back. Is that tab browser? Oh, no, it was here. Browser, private browsing. Was it accidental? Let's find out. Let's try rerunning this test with it like this. Moki test. Was it browser, private browsing, pop-up blocker? Looks good. Okay, that was something that didn't need to change, so good call. Another good call from Neil. Yeah, this looks like a fragment from a previous change. Good eye. Okay, hide done inlines. Next one. The did destroy and receive message implementations are almost identical, so they could be combined to remove code duplication. Okay. So, browser pop-up blocking child. No, pop-up parent in here. He's right. Like we do. Like, receive message. We're going to create a new method called like update blocked pop-ups. Update pop-up data. Update pop-up count for browser. And we're going to pass in count should notify. And then we're going to do all of this. Browser handle RDM mode, and then we're going to say count should notify. And then we can do this dot update pop-up count for browser count 0 should notify false. here, we'll say if message.name equals update blocked popups, this.update popup count for browser count message data dot count. Here we'll should notify message data dot should notify. Simplified. I think that'll work. Let's run the test again. Come on. There we are. Beauty. That's what I wanted to see. Now, I think there's also like a private browser-based content test private, or is it browser components? Private browsing. Is there a pop-up blocking one in here as well? Browser, private browsing, pop-up blocker. All right, let's just run this real quick as well. Looking good. Good feedback, Neil. Done. Hide done inlines. Next. Next, next, next. So in here, he's saying maybe we could just store and pass the browsing context rather than the ID. So that's an interesting idea. I don't mind that. Browsing context. The browsing context that the pop-up was blocked for. Doesn't look like there's anything else accessing the ID here. So then we need to update popup.browsing context like this. And then we need to store the browsing context like this. Current BC. Browsing context that the pop-up was blocked for. And then over here in the UI code, we need to stash where's the part that stashes the here. So instead of saying the attribute, we'll say menu item dot browsing context equals blocked pop-up browsing context. It uses pop-up report browser. Okay, show block pop-up. Here, browsing context equals target dot browsing context. And then we pass that. I think that's everything I needed to do there. Let's now run the tests. Also, while we're waiting for this, I'll let you know that there's no Joy Coding stream next week or the week after. I'm on holiday, and almost certainly, the week after that, for episode 200 and, what was it, 205 will be the last episode where I'm in the IRC live hacking channel. I'm reasonably certain that by the time that episode 205 ships and is recorded and broadcasts, that the Matrix, Mozilla-wide Matrix instance, like will have been deployed and opened up to the broader volunteer and like community of the world. So at that point, I will have created a live hacking channel, and I will have instructions here in the agenda on how you can connect to it. And I don't even think, am I in the IRC live hacking channel right now? I am, but I'm not really paying much attention to it, just a little bit. So yeah, soon we will have the Matrix instance opened up, and then we can get some people in here. It's even possible that hang on, what did it just happen? Did we just open it up? All right, no, it's not been opened up yet. So don't worry about it. Next, yeah, that's done. Our test passed. Feeling pretty good. Next, done. I mean, the Matrix stuff is imminent. Like, people are working on it right now. It could happen at any time. I'll be very excited. If you want like up to the minute updates, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Mike_Conley, I think, on Twitter. What is my Twitter account? Mike_Conley. I'll also mention it in the live hacking IRC channel. And anywhere else where I'm in IRC, because I will, as soon as it occurs, I'm going to broadcast in all the IRC channels that I'm still in, and then I'm going to yeet right out of IRC, and I'm going to cancel my IRC cloud subscription. Okay, so the last question is, don't you want the weak doc states map to be global rather than per actor? I mean, it could. I'm trying to think if there's an advantage. I guess one of the disadvantages... Actually, yeah, there is an issue here. Because of pop-up blocking... well, is there an issue here? Pop-up blocking child. Doc states. Actor. Don't you want the weak doc states map to be global rather than per actor? I'm going to say not necessarily. At least from my own testing, it looks like the pop-up blocking child actor can stick around between navigations, and we don't necessarily tear it down and spawn a new one. This is particularly true if browsing to a site on this URL in the same domain. I guess mainly, so having observed that, I made the weak doc states associated with the pop-up blocking child, mainly because I can't think of a good reason, or I can't think of a scenario, but please let me know if you can, where we'd ever want to access the current window global, access a global in that set that has never belonged to the same pop-up blocking child. So in a way, this helps to prevent pop-up data from, does it really help? I don't know if it really helps, but like it keeps them organized. It's more of an organizational thing. Let me know if you feel strongly about this. I can make it global, but I think the organization as it is kind of makes sense. So I'm going to say done there, and I think that's all of the review comments. Yeah. Great. So I'm going to take a look at the diff. Current diff. Andrew016 says, I always found IRC convoluted. You're not alone. Like, and I've been using IRC. I'm gonna date myself here. I've been using IRC since like the 90s, and so I was fairly used to it. And so for a while there, I didn't even notice how difficult and awkward it was to use. The times when I would realize how difficult and awkward it was to use was whenever I tried to get someone like, sorry, I'm just going to clean the screen, like a new contributor or an intern or like a new hire. If they were like, how do I get onto the chat? I'd walk them through the process, and that's when I'd realize, oh, this is garbage. This experience blows, because there's this huge on-ramp. And then there's like all this client configuration stuff you need to do and make automatic, and then the moderation is a pain or non-existent. I know that like I myself have been on the business end of like drive-by abuse. Oh, sorry, there's a crease up here. Drive-by abuse on IRC that I think it's a lot easier for us to deal with. It's a lot easier for us to deal with Matrix. So, oh, come on. How do I make that go away? There's just glare, this annoying green line. Is that better? Not really. I need an iron. That's what I need. I need an iron to clear out the glare. Okay. All right, this looks good, I think. I feel pretty good about this. So I'm going to amend this. And now I am going to post up for review again. And MozFab is updating itself. Lovely. And then we've got something like half an hour. I want to review another patch. I have two other things I want to do today. I want to review a patch to picture-in-picture stuff, and then review a MyQOnly patch. MyQOnly is a tool. Maybe you've seen it. It's in my toolbar. It tells me how many reviews I have. In this case, I have 2 reviews in my queue. And it's on GitHub, and someone had a patch for the add-on. Anyway, so posting this up for review, I'm going to publish my replies here. So let me submit. Danny Colin says, I mean, I use IRC for almost 15 years, and it was a PITA, which is an acronym for pain in the ass to set. And absolutely, no lie, I am in full agreement with you, Danny Colin. It was garbage. As experiences go, garbage. I mean, part of me will always have a soft spot for IRC, but it was a garbage experience, especially for people who weren't used to it. Especially. All right, I'm happy with this. Let us wait now and see if Neil comes back with any more review feedback. So this is done. I can link link to the bug though in the notes, just for completeness sake, and I'll put a link to the patch as well. So I'm going to review this next patch, this picture-in-picture thing. So one of the things people have wanted to be able to do is to like track forward, track backward inside of the picture-in-picture player window. But in order to do that, we don't want to have to invent a whole new like playhead scrubber. We wanted to reuse the one inside the video controls, but refactoring it to make it reusable is going to be a bit of work. So in the interim, we're going to see if we can give keyboard controls for like scrubbing back and forward, fast forwarding and rewinding, etc. So this is the patch that GL wrote. Interesting. All right, let's try it out. Let's apply the patch. I'm gonna apply it right where I am, because there's actually a native code patch to my pop-up blocking stuff that I don't want to have to rebuild because I've changed off of it. Because I had to change the CPP file to fire the pop-up blocking event on the frame that caused the pop-up to fire, not necessarily the top level frame. All right, let's build this and test. Let's see what it's like. We'll use YouTube as our example. What's a good video to test with? Here's this thing with Rowan Atkinson. Sure.
Writing's not.
Ah, that's loud. I'm gonna mute. And let's try and open this up in a picture-in-picture window, and hopefully I will remember to move my head. No, I will move the video player up here. So, what we're hoping is that these keyboard controls can be used to... Oh, I need to pref it on. I think it's off by default. So let's turn them on. All right. So, yeah, that works. Now let's go to the very beginning. Let's go to the end. Let's go to the beginning. Track forward. Very good. Now, can I control the volume? What are the controls for volume? It's like keystroke up arrow. What does that do? Oh, it's changing the volume level. Okay.
Thank you, Vanessa. Ladies and gentlemen, what a delight it is to accept the award on behalf of my close...
Okay, and then there's mute altogether. What else do we have? Home and space is... Yeah. Down arrow, volume decrease. Mute is accelerate down arrow. So mute.
Pornographic.
Okay.
Delightful object it is, the John.
Okay. Excel left arrow, seek back 10%. Forward, slightly quicker, faster. Yeah. Pretty pleased. I have a feeling as well that he's copied some of this from the default video controls. Let me see if I can confirm that. Yeah, it looks like it's in here. Cool. Can you please add a comment saying that this is cloned from videocontrols.js and that we have plans to eventually combine the two implementations? Because ultimately we're hoping to reuse the same controls instead of duplicating them like this. This is almost like what I was saying before of re-implementing a scrubber, except it's not re-implementing the scrubber, it's re-implementing the keyboard shortcut part for the most part. And is there anything else he chopped out? So the space bar, I think we can like simplify some of the space bar stuff. Key down, escape. Let's go back to the implementation here. So, that's a bug. Okay, if we have the keyboard, if we've keyboard focused one of the buttons, we don't want to send this message. So there is an issue here. There is a slight bug here. If we keyboard focus the play, pause toggle by hitting tab, then press space, we end up quickly pausing and then playing the video. So we should probably not call on key down if the keying attribute is set to true, or maybe we should at the very least ignore the what is it, space, dom vk space, if the keying attribute is set to true. Otherwise, I think this is brilliant. Let's land this defaulted to on. We can turn it off if we decide, if there are showstoppers discovered down the line. I appreciate the pref check. But otherwise, this is great. Yeah, this is really great. I'm gonna request changes though. Thanks, GL. This is really great. Just one issue found. See the part about the DOM VK space. but I'm really happy with this. If we can address the below comments, I think this will be pretty much ready to go. Pretty much ready to go. Okay. Done. Andrew, hold on a second. There's more feedback in the channel, in the Twitch channel. MikeConley.ca. Are you planning to have an option to change the default position of the pip, opening the top right corner instead of the bottom right? Currently, that is not a thing that we are considering. One of the things we were considering was remembering where the last window was and opening it there instead. That was a thing that was brought up. But these are not currently, that's not like a high priority thing that we're working on right now. We're still trying to plan for 2020 what exactly we want to do. We've shipped the feature on all of the desktop platforms, and that was a good start. And now we're going to figure out what we want to do and prioritize in 2020. That's part of what we're going to be discussing next week when I'm traveling. Question from Andrew016. Just curious, what's your area of expertise with Firefox? I would say that I'm primarily these days, my area of expertise is in the performance of the browser, particularly the performance of the front-end components of the browser, and basically how the front end of the browser works, the user interface of the browser, how it works. That's my area of expertise. Although that covers a broad, that doesn't cover everything I know. There are other things I know and can do as well, but that's probably where I spend most of my time giving advice and giving reviews and stuff. Okay, so that was one review done. So if I refresh this, it should say one left. Here's another review in my queue. Let's do this now as a bonus. The core bug here was that we were doing the enum boolean check too early. We should do it after we validate and parse simple params that we're already converted the JSON inputs to the proper type. This makes things much more obvious as to what's going on. In addition, it made me realize this is untested, so I've had the 3 tests to cover these cases. Okay. So in the schema validator for the policy engine, there was this code here where if the parameter was Boolean, don't check the enum values. This allows for values that are both a string with enums and a Boolean. Not equal Boolean properties. Enum includes param return true and param return false null. Okay, we got rid of that, and instead we have this code in here that's going to go through and check to see what type is properties, and if it's Boolean, number, integer, string, URL empty, origin, or null, we'll validate and parse the param, and we'll get the valid and the data back, and then we'll check here if the data is not Boolean and it's an enum. And if the things that are allowed in the enum does not include what was actually passed, then we return false null. Otherwise, we return type of data is not equal to Boolean. If the param is Boolean, don't check the enum values. This allows for a string with enums and Booleans. So we want to allow Booleans inside enums as well. Okay. That seems fine. Andrew016 goes, I see, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So here are the tests that were added. We get a string, an enum of 1 and 2. We'll parse, validate and parse parameters. 1 schema. Three is not valid. Yep. And now we allow true to to go through. Just ignore because it's a Boolean. Type Boolean 1, 2. Value and parse, and then we pass in the number 1 value. Yes, it's a Boolean converted from an integer. I like this. This change makes sense to me. We were doing it too early here. We want to do it after we validate and parse the params. Okay. Yeah. And I say thanks for the tests too. Accept. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to look at in our remaining time is the patch to my queue only. Oh, I had some pull requests that, oh, these are from before. I think there were some changes requested. It hasn't been followed up. So here a review is required. Assignees, reviewers, request. Okay, so I have to review this. Let's take a look at the changes. So he adds himself to the contributors list. Great. What exactly is this doing? It's making it so that if you are on Fabricator, so if you go to the Fabricator like list of reviews, you can have like group review requests in here, and he wants to filter those out. So where do we parse those? Fabricator, background. Where's the Fabricator thing? If you wouldn't mind reverting the version number bump, I'll do that in a separate commit. Unless, did he do it in a separate commit? Oh, or just commits. Support fixes version bump. I'll do that in a separate commit with release notes. That's our bump here and in package.json. So start a review. So how does this work? So he's adding total group reviews. Inside the Popup, Fabricator user reviews. You have that many reviews on Fabricator, this many group reviews on Fabricator. Makes sense. He added a new line there at the end, that's good. Query selector, include reviewer groups. Include reviewer groups checked equals service settings, include reviewer groups. Cast, okay. Data setting. What's the convention in here in our settings? Include reviewer groups. Data setting. What's the convention? API key. So it's like camel case. Such a weird mix. All right. Including reviewers groups dot checked. And then when do we write that? When do we write that? In options. Groups. Oh, I think it's automatic. It's automatic in options.js. This is when we populate it. And then whenever we update it, what do we do? I'm trying to remember. On update service. Get service setting. Okay, then we just like set the setting for the service. Okay. Cool. So it kind of becomes automatic. to add some logging. Data is update fabricator. If service settings include review groups, data review total. Okay. So this is the part where we actually go and get the information. User ID equals user menu attributes get named item ref. Row of rows and query the person. And the local user review total goes up. What? Local. Do we really need... Oh, local user review total. I see. Group reviews total is rows length minus the local user. I see. That's why you're doing it. He subtracts the ones that are just for the user from the group review total. Okay. This makes sense. I don't have a way, I'm not part of any reviewer groups, but this makes sense. I'd like to pull this change down. Okay, I'm gonna pull this. How do I get this? Commits. I want to pull this down. I want how do I pull this down? Deblong issue. Let's like get fetch. Get branch A. No. Deblong. This is what I want. Only. I'm trying to remember how to do this. So I'm going to add his get remote add a clots. Get fetch a clots. Right. Then I'm going to get checkout b a clots issue 33 from a clots issue 33. Check. Okay, so get log. Okay. Now if I do yarn install, oh, I need yarn. Brew install yarn. Prozaean511 says, want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on followandbot.com. Cool spam. How do I kick this guy? Whoops. Cancel friend request. How do I kick the spammer? Spam, 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 spam. Threats, harm, no. Hate speech, harassment, invading, block, banner, suspension. Spam. I think this is a bot account. Okay. There you go. Blocked. Or, well, spam report sent, I think. Okay, so let's yarn install. On my queue only. It's got to go like fetch the world. Go download the internet. Okay. Error, error, error. Failed to execute. Something, something, something. Not okay. Not okay. Too many errors. Node. Node. Wait, already it's 1360, and then yarn install just was like, I'm exploding. Oh, you know what? It's probably, do I already have like some pre-existing node modules? Yeah, let me just blow away these node modules. Yarn install. Canova says, it's an optional package. The install is done, actually. What was the optional package? This is a terrible user experience. Well, oh, for FS events? Well, whatever. Yarn test. Let's run the tests. Yarn test failed. The I cleaning refresh should give unique IDs when the fabricator service. Now, is that because of a Klotz's patch? Yarn test. Or are these tests just super, like, flaky? Okay, those tests pass. Close tabs. Let's do that again. Okay, now let's check out a Klotz issue 33. Run the tests again. Yeah, this fails. Fabricator should be able to load the simple case. User menu is null in fabric background JS 281. IQ only. Background JS line 281. User menu. I couldn't find it. What test? Tests. Is it background test maybe that's running? And then add an options page. Can't remember which. It's been so long since I've done any of this. Should be able to load the simple case. Let's see. Okay, so subl tests services fabricator test. Should be able to load the simple case. So the test URL, I see. So it looks like Aklotz's patch might not handle the case where let's go back to the review. Open menu. What is it? Menu equals user menu. Now I wonder if that's because I had snipped it out. Let's take a look at one ready. Content. Tests, content, fabricator, empty, one ready. So I remove, like, this is a very simplified chunk. I wonder if it's because I need to include more. So I can do that actually by going to the options and going to the bottom right debug, generate fabricator test case. I'm pretty sure fabricator test case. Let's look at the debug code. So we don't just want fabricator nav content, we want the whole thing. Let's expand up here. Get the document body, fabricator core user menu. Okay, we're gonna update so that doc query selector, we're just gonna get at the body. Active revisions. I guess I can just do doc body. And then I could probably just do like hope. It's gonna be annoying. So if I go to like fabricator, so there's all this stuff, and what did he want? He wants like core user menu. Why? It's getting the href value attributes. How many matches? There are 3 of them. He's looking for this. I see. Href that has /p. Okay, he wants this one. And then what does he do? He gets the value. I think we can simplify it. This can be simplified to user menu.get attribute. Actually, it's an anchor, so ref. Pretty sure if you like just get an anchor ref, yeah, I think you just do href. So I need to update the... I guess for now what I'll do is I'll add something like this to the test cases. Test user. Empty. Okay, so this should make them pass. Expected 0 to equal 1. Fabricator test. Line 9. Review total should be 1. Did I strip those out as well? No? Oh, because who's one of the user? Okay, I can't just pass in like nothing. This like test user, I gotta pass in like one where there's actually a user. So we're gonna what's the class called? /p/mconley. Does it have a / after it? It does. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Okay. Get diff. Get status, get add, tests, services, fabricator, get commit, update, test case stuff for fabricator. Just for fab is fine. Same as above, reviewer ref. All right, so I'm going to say finish your review. Thanks, dblom. Just a few minor things, and then I think I can fold this in. Much appreciated. Request changes. Okay. I think I'm going to call it here. We're 8 minutes over. I'm going to call it. Thank you so much for watching episode 204, not 304, 204 of The Joy of Coding. It was so good to have you here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We were able to get through all of these things, which I was pretty pleased about. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Smash that like and subscribe and whatever, but also feel free, please. I would prefer it rather than liking and subscribing, which those are fine and all things. But let me know what you thought of the episode in more detail by visiting the link in the agenda. It's a form that you can fill out to let me know what you thought in greater detail. I use this to help shape the stream. I want to make sure that it's delivering what you need it to deliver. So please let me know. I read everything that comes in, so let me know. I want to thank you so much for watching episode 204 of The Joy of Coding. I will not be here next week. I will be traveling next week and the week after, so I will be back in February 12th. That will be the next stream. February 12th will be episode 205. So I will see you then on February 12th. Have yourself a great couple of weeks. And I hope maybe I'll see you in Matrix on February 12th. Or the week after. We'll see. There might be a bit of a transition period. But we'll see. Take care. Bye-bye. The joy of coding. See ya.